Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your back porch professor. I'm going to be traveling later on today, so I'm not in the studio, but I just had to comment on the latest coming from Iran because this stuff is huge. Before we dive in here, a little programming note. I'm excited to announce a private Turley Talks after hours meetup during the ACCS Repairing the Ruins conference in Atlanta. It's just in a few weeks, in January 25th to the 27th. We're keeping this one intimate, just 25 spots, and it's free for registered conference attendees. There'll also be a very limited VIP upgrade for those of you who want a deeper, more personal experience. RSVP by simply scanning the code below while spots are still available, and I can't wait to see you there in Atlanta. All right, so let's start with the latest assassination. So last night in the Andeshe district, a western suburb of Greater Tehran, a powerful explosion tore through a 40-unit residential complex. The target was the Islamic Revolutionary Guard General Vahid Hakan. Now, he is, or now was, considered to be one of the key leaders in this fractured regime. He's a man who is the direct link between the IRGC's military machine and Iran's state propaganda apparatus. Hakan managed the sensitive satellite contracts between the IRGC's military arm and the Islamic Republic's state broadcasters. So, in other words, he was the man who made sure that the regime's approved propaganda got amplified, and the man who made sure the military secrets stayed hidden from that propaganda. Now, as we speak, no group has taken official responsibility, but the pattern is unmistakable. This was a surgical strike, this was deliberate, and this was the first targeted assassination inside Iran since the April ceasefire went into effect. So it's sending a very, very clear message. And the message is exactly this. The ceasefire does not mean the pressure is off. The ceasefire does not mean you get to rebuild in peace. Every general, every intelligence officer, every link in the regime's chain of command is still a legitimate target. Now, the timing of the strike is even more significant because it comes at the exact same time that Iran's own president reportedly submitted an official resignation letter to the office of the Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei, who, keep in mind, we don't even know is actually living, breathing. We don't even know if Mojtaba is alive. But regardless, the letter was rather extraordinary. Pezeshkian complained that he and his entire elected government have been excluded from every major and vital decision-making process inside the Islamic Republic. He said that the vacuum that exclusion created has allowed hardline factions within the IRGC to seize complete control of the state. And he said he can no longer carry out his legal responsibilities. Now, of course, one doesn't just resign in Iran. The generals calling the shots have rejected that resignation. The IRGC-affiliated news media called the resignation fake. They said he didn't resign. But it's rather clear, as President Trump has said repeatedly, there is not a single government or regime in charge over Iran right now. It's splintered competing factions. So there's no coherent, comprehensive government in Iran as we speak. In terms of the new Supreme Leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, Israeli intelligence assessments have concluded that Mojtaba has effectively become a rubber stamp, a man whose signature legitimizes decisions made by the men with the guns, right? Again, this may be another example, the Iranian example of an auto pen, but there are clearly guns behind the signatures. And that explains what's happening to Iran's civilian governance structure. The IRGC restructured itself into autonomous regional headquarters, empowered to act independently of the civilian leadership in Tehran, as well as the auto-penning supreme leader. So the IRGC appears completely in charge with multiple autonomous factions. So this is precisely what's making negotiations so hard and unpredictable. There isn't a single regime to negotiate with. The Islamic Republic right now has a supreme leader who hasn't actually even been seen since his appointment. His condition remains unknown. Again, he probably is not making any decisions at all. You've got a president, an elected president, who reportedly just told the Supreme Leader's office in writing that he has no power, so it's time to let him go. You got a fractured IRGC that's taken over the government, the media apparatus, and whatever remains of the security structure. You've got a propaganda machine whose key link to the military just got blown up in a targeted strike inside Iran. And you've got a negotiating team that's literally all over the place in terms of demands and agreements and timetables, reflecting the fact that there simply is no coherent functioning government in Iran. So the question everyone is asking is whether Iran will make a deal, whether the nuclear negotiations will succeed, whether the ceasefire will hold. But those questions are almost beside the point right now, because what we're watching is not just a negotiation. It's not just a ceasefire, a fragile one at that. It's the structural disintegration of the Islamic Republic from within. An IRGC that sees total control, but whose generals are being picked off one by one. A supreme leader who may be more ghost than ruler. A president who just tried to quit because he admitted he has no power. And a propaganda infrastructure whose key figure just got blown up in his own apartment. So this is not the posture of a regime in a position of strength. This is the posture of a regime in its final hours, clinging to the symbols of power while the substance drains away. And it seems to me that at this point, Trump will have no choice but to finish him off. In the meantime, the Iranian people, all 80 million of them, are watching. They know, and when the time comes, they will not need to be asked twice. So what do you guys think? Is the Islamic Republic in its final days? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button for breaking news and analysis you're not going to get anywhere else. Love you guys. God bless.
Gang, quick update before I go. Registration is now open for my private Turley Talks After Hours meetup in Atlanta. It's happening during the ACCS Repairing the Ruins Conference, June 25th to 27th, and it's free for all registered conference attendees. Now, for those who want to make the experience even more special, you can upgrade to VIP, which includes a one-on-one photo, a signed book, and front row seating. And right now, the early bird VIP discount is available for a limited time. Spots are limited because we're keeping this gathering exclusive. So RSVP right now. I'd love to meet you in Atlanta, and I'll see you there.